Hi there, my name is Evelyn Haller. I am an EFT professional. I have been working with EFT for about 10 years now, and I really love this method, and I want to show how it works, and I want to show you how you can use it for you personally. Or I will try to answer all your questions that I generally have been asked in the past about EFT. And in the end of the video, I will also show you a demonstration of how you can tap the points for yourself. If you have questions, just ask me, contact me, write them below in the comments, or visit my website. You will find the address below. The EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. It is a method that Gary Craig, an American, has invented or found out. I want to add that I don't use the official EFT, but the EFT that I have personally learned, and that is related to the EFT of Gary Craig. So EFT stands, as I said, for Emotional Freedom Techniques. And this is what EFT is all about. It's about freedom, about your personal freedom, about getting rid of your problems and all the pressures you have on your mind and in your body. When you use the method EFT, you tap points on your body. These points are meridian points. So the idea is that by tapping these points, you stimulate your meridians, and in this way you solve your problems. Already the Chinese knew about these meridians. They found out about them, and the meridians go through our whole body. And what you can do is tap them and so influence your energy, and your energy helps you solve your problem because your system knows that something is wrong. If you have pain, if you have pressure, if you have a mental problem, your system knows there is something wrong. And so the energy helps you solve these problems. In a few moments, I will show you the points. So when can you use EFT? That's probably one of the questions you have. So Gary Craig says, try it on everything. So there's really no limits to the method. It's always worth a try. Sometimes it can help you quickly, sometimes it could take a little longer. But really, like I said, try it on everything. So this can be mental problems, meaning that you have maybe ideas in your head and you know these are not good ideas, like sentences from your parents, for example, who told you, for example, you have to eat your plate, and you know this is wrong, but the sentence is still in your head. Yeah. So mental problems are all the thoughts in your brain that are there, and you feel like they are not helpful anymore. So all experiences that you have made, sentences you have once heard, and you now know or you feel they are not right, but they are still in you, like as if it is the truth. Another example would be, maybe you once had a teacher and the teacher told you you are not good at maths. So your whole life you believed that you are not good at maths, although you may be good at maths. Only the sentence is a mental blockade and you believe it, and this is one of the things you can solve with EFT. So the second big area that you can use EFT for is your emotional problems. So all kinds of emotional stress, emotional problem that weighs on you, like sadness, anxiety, feeling of loss, feeling of not being fine with yourself, feeling like you have stress with yourself, you don't accept yourself. So all these emotional topics can also be tapped with EFT or be worked on with EFT. So that would be the next big area. And the third area you can use EFT with is your body. So everything that's concerned with your body, may it be pain in the back, but also chronic diseases. You can also work on these, or allergies. You can work on any topic with EFT and try to dissolve it. And remember, the body topics take the longest, and the mental problems are the ones that usually can be worked on the fastest with EFT. I have seen in my office, I have had clients who have had, for example, back pains. So we have worked on this topic. Back pain can be a simple problem, but it can also be a complex problem. That's what you always have to bear in mind. And we have tapped and worked together for an hour, and the back pain was gone. I have also had a woman who came to me with chronic headaches. So she has had headaches for years already, and no doctor could help her. And she saw her last help in me, and we have worked for quite a few hours on it because it was a complex topic. And today she has no chronic headaches anymore. She has them from time to time, but just like everybody of us has a headache. I have also had clients with emotional problems. I have had clients who have had fears, various kinds of fears. There can be fears of height. I have had fears of also the fear of not turning off the oven. A person, she couldn't leave the house without controlling 10 times if she had left the oven on or off. And so we worked on that, and it got better. So afterwards she wrote me that now it's better. She's relieved. She can leave the house without this idea in her head and this fear in her head. Another client was a young man, and he was afraid of heights. So he was afraid of walking in the mountains because very soon he was afraid of falling down, although it was not risky yet. And so I worked with him, and only after 1 hour it was gone. So he now walks in the mountains and is totally relaxed. The benefits of EFT are clearly that EFT is a very easy method. So everybody can use it and can do it. Also, you can do it. You can do it by yourself. You don't need a therapist. You can really try and follow the single steps and just see how it works. The second thing is that it is very effective, especially if you compare it to other methods where it sometimes takes long therapies, long sessions, and EFT sometimes can solve problems. Also, this 1-minute wonders are possible, but of course also, like I said before, it sometimes can also take more time. But compared to other methods, it's really fast. So do you need a therapist, or can you also work on your own? This really depends on yourself. It may be that you are you feel good with the method, then you can also work with EFT on your own. However, you should always beware of deeper topics, because EFT also, as it works so fast, it can also happen that you get an emotional flush, and this can sometimes be too much. So just be careful with going too much into big topics. I think that's one of the points where I say it's good to go to a therapist, because he can accompany you through it. If you see that you don't feel so safe with the method yet, you can also see a therapist, because of course it's always easy to do something with a partner. It makes it easier. So the meridian points of EFT are on the upper part of your body. So you only need your hands and your upper body to work on these points. The first point is the introductory point. That's here on the hand, on this side of the hand. You tap it softly, like you tap every point. This is the initiating point, and then there are the proper EFT points. The first one is here between your eyebrows. The next one is at the side of your eye. The third is under your eye. The next one is between your nose and your upper lip. The next one is between your lower lip and your chin. There is a little, you can feel it, it's in here. The next point is here on your chest. There are many meridians going through, so you can also tap with the full hand. The last point is here next to your breast. So these are the points you tap when you make an EFT session. So how do you tap? How does it work? When you have a topic that you want to tap, you first ask yourself the question, what is my problem and how do I notice it. So how do I feel it? For example, if I have pain in my tooth, so which part of my tooth is it, or my teeth? Is it on the left side, on the right side? Is it on the upper or on the lower teeth? And then you say, how does this pain feel? Is it itchy? Is it like a sting? How does it feel? So you describe it. The next thing is you decide between 1 and 10 how strong you feel it. This is important because then afterwards you need to see if something has changed. And it's not important to have the exact number, but it's really your personal guess. And let's say I have a toothache on my right side, on my upper right side, and it's itchy. And so, and then I say, okay, from 1 to 10, it's 7. Okay, then I start with the tapping. I start with this point, and I have 3 times the same sentence, and it always starts, even if I have this pain in my right upper tooth, this itching pain, I'm okay and I fully accept myself. And then I repeat the sentence 3 times. Even if I have this itching pain in my upper right teeth, I am okay and I fully accept myself. When I'm done with this, I come to the points. And there I repeat what my problem is. In this case, the itching teeth. My itching tooth on the right side of my upper teeth. This itching pain. This itching pain. This itching pain on my upper right tooth. This itching pain on my upper right tooth. This itching pain. This itching pain on my upper right tooth. Okay. When I'm done with this, I take a deep breath. And then I feel if something has changed. Is it now feeling differently? Even if it's just a slight difference. It can become stronger, it can become less, or it can be just equally the same like it was before. But it is important to really notice also slight differences. This can be that it's not a 7 now, but it's a 6. Or it can be that it's not itching, but it's burning now, that the pain feels different, or that it's higher up or lower down. So every change you should notice, and then you continue with what you feel now. So if it's still this itching pain in your tooth, your upper right tooth, but it's less, then you just continue and tap the points, and then you continue until you get to the 0. So the mantra is the initial sentence. You start with, even if I have this problem, I fully accept myself. In this case, you can always put what you personally like. This can be, I'm okay, I'm fully okay, I accept and I love myself, I accept and I love myself fully. So this is the part that you can personalize, so to say. And then I'm still okay, and I give myself the chance of solving this problem. You can also add this sentence. And this helps you, first of all, to focus on your problem, and secondly, to also put this accepting part in it, because it's very important to accept yourself even if you have problems. This also helps your system to relax and not to work on it like with a lot of stress. So how many times a day can you tap? There is actually no rule to it. You can tap also at every time of the day. You can tap in the morning, in the evening, during the day, also in the night. You can tap at any time, and also as long as you want and as long as it feels good for you. You will notice yourself when it's enough or when you need more tapping. You can also start to tap a problem and then leave it and continue at a later point. because sometimes we don't have the time and we don't know in the beginning how much time it will take to solve a problem or to work on the problem. It is advisable to work on just one problem each time, because the system can focus on this problem and helps you solve it. If you work on two problems at the same time, it gets confusing and it may also confuse you. So it's better to focus on one problem. However, what can happen is that focusing on one problem and tapping one problem, another problem can also be solved without you realizing it. So you will see afterwards that maybe something else also is easier now. Sometimes it can happen that you tap and it doesn't go away. Remember that there are mistakes that we can make when tapping. One of the mistakes is not being persistent enough. One point is really that you don't give up too early, that you continue tapping, and that you also, and that's the second point, you also try to think of what could be the message behind your problem. When you tap your backache, for example, and you tap and tap and tap and it doesn't go away, you remain at the same pain level, so it always is a 5, let's say, then you can start thinking, okay, if this back pain could speak, what would it tell me? What would it say? What is it that weighs on my shoulders or on my back? What makes pressure in my life? And this can be an emotional problem that stands behind this backache. So the next step would be that you start tapping these emotional topics, and then chances are likely that this pain goes away. Kids are very open for this method, and usually they really love it. In my office, I have had many kids who came to me and they were really fascinated because I tell them that these are miracle dots and that it's magic what they can do, and they are really open to it. They are not like us adults who think about it and try to analyze. So they just simply accept and are very interested in the method. Of course, you have to see what age the kid is. With a baby, it would be so that you tap for the baby or on the baby. When the kid is a bit older, you can make it more like a game, that you tap the points together or that you tap them on the kid. Maybe like saying you are now the magic bird and you come and you tap the dots and help the kid. And then the older the kid gets, the more you can involve him or her in the tapping process, and you can help the kid over all the emotional and pain that it has. EFT is a great method if you have problems like depression or anxiety. Both are emotional problems, and EFT has the effect that when you tap, that you come exactly to that point in your brain, because our brain is made of different parts, and we have one part in the brain that is responsible for our emotions. And with EFT, you can exactly come to this brain part and change your emotions. And anxiety is one of the problems that many people have, because anxiety is an emotion that comes into our system when we have a situation in our life where our fear is big in one special situation, and then our brain thinks, okay, this is a dangerous situation. So every time we have a similar situation, the brain goes panic and says fear. And with EFT, I can tap this problem, and I have had really great results with tapping fears. So what are mistakes that you can make when tapping EFT points? First of all, you should not be afraid of trying it, because you cannot harm yourself by tapping it, or at least so far there are no reports about people having harmed themselves with EFT. So really, generally, just try it on everything. When you try and you don't get the results, there can be various problems behind it. One thing is that you are not persistent enough. So you give up too early. Just don't continue long enough on a topic. The second is that you have PUs, that are psychological changes. So you tap, but behind in your back you think this cannot work, or this cannot work with me. I am a too difficult person, such a simple method as EFT cannot work. If you have thoughts like these, then you have to tap these thoughts first, because they can block the effect of EFT. Another thing is that this can also happen afterwards. So you may have tapped and you may feel that, okay, I feel good now, the pain is gone and I feel fine. And then you, like some hours later or a day later, you think, no, this cannot be true. It cannot have happened that just with tapping these points for a few times, my whole pain can have gone away. And this is also something where our brain brings the pain back. So you should trust in what you do. So if you have a good result, then this is your work, this is your job that you have done well, and you can trust yourself. Of course, EFT can also come back, so the problem can also come back. But then beware that it can also be that you have missed an aspect. Sometimes our problems are simple. So like we have the example of the back pain. You have a back pain because you have like moved the wrong way, and then you tap this pain and it may go away. But it can also be that this is more complex. So behind this back pain, there is a series of problems that you have and that are expressed with this pain. So what you have to do then is really try to find all the aspects. And it can happen that you have solved two aspects and think you're fine, and then the pain comes back. And in that case, it doesn't mean that you haven't worked properly, but that you have just forgotten about an aspect. And in this case, just try to find this other aspect that can be the reason for the back pain, and work with that aspect also with EFT. I am often asked if I can also tap for other people, because people become enthusiastic about the method and they also want to help other people solve their problems. So the first thing when you want to tap for others is that you have to be very careful, because it may be your interest that the other person doesn't have the problem anymore, but is it really also the interest of the other person? So that's the first and most important question that you have to ask yourself, because sometimes if I have a problem, this problem may also help me. This sounds a bit paradox now, but this is really sometimes the case. So if possible, it's always best to ask the person if she's fine, if you work with that problem. Then, of course, you can try to tap for the other person. In this case, you try to emotionally feel what the other person may feel or think, and then tap all the persuasions that you have in your body and in your mind. You tap those. And another basic like mantra is that you always have to tap just topics that are meant well. So we are not allowed to do harm to anybody with EFT. It's always important to have this positive intention. So now we have come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and you could get new information, and I hope it also inspired you to start with EFT, as it is really a big present that we have because it is so simple and so effective. If you have questions, contact me. If you want to book a session with me, you find the information below. And I really hope to hear from you soon. Don't forget to subscribe and to follow me in my other videos. Bye.